the sentence that the judge gives. Some sit in the cells with their books. They use the time to feed their minds, don't care about the dirty looks. Yo, I take for what it took to be a crook. Push ahead, yo, I'll never...
Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to Shoot the Shit Saturday Night. We're going to talk some pro wrestling from this week, the top headlines, as always. And to all the live viewers tonight in Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, what's up? And I'll bring everybody in. It's a late one tonight. First up, bringing the APOC.
What's going on?
How we doing?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Well, 9 o'clock. I will bring in everybody quick tonight. Tonight, he's being known as the benefactor. What are you benefactoring tonight there, Mr. Mickey Biggs?
His ass.
It's just the new character going on with PAPW, that's all.
Oh, there you go. Living the gimmick, as we say. Gotta.
That's it. That's
I like the snazzy hat.
Thank you.
And as always, tonight he was not the first man in the studio, which is shocking. He must have been sleeping, but I woke him up from his trash can in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. The the hobo, the lost soul, but has now found his realm and his aura.
Oh, get it on. Let's go. Stop kissing his ass.
Mr. HAP himself.
Jesus
the
Christ.
Canadian on the couch. Sidewalk Sam.
No, I was watching the Celtics game. I was watching the Celtics game.
JD's watching the Celtics game right now.
Great game. It's very entertaining.
Halftime, up 2-0 in the series, but we're not here to talk sports. We're here to talk sports entertainment. Hopefully we'll be joined by Mr. James Forbes and maybe being graced by the great Gazoo himself.
Forbes is probably over there blowing Tony Khan right now.
It's one of the only products it's the only product I watched this week. I read about WWE.
I watched SmackDown. I didn't catch Raw or NXT because I worked 14 hours back to back both days, and I was exhausted. Sami Zayn must be doing something right to be on the main event of SmackDown.
The last 2 nights in a row, they're trying to push him, and I don't see why. He got so over at WrestleMania that you keep trying to push him.
You don't see why, or you can see why.
You see why.
I can see why. Yes.
Okay. That was very puzzling right there. I was like, It must be that Canadian air.
No, I can see why. They should.
Well, everyone's making a big deal about this New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW cross pay-per-view. It's really not a big deal, to be honest with you. First of all,
here's what I heard of the whole thing.
Go ahead, Pat. School us.
I think Tony Khan is trying in his best way to beat WWE, and it will never happen.
He's a mark with money. That's all he is.
That's what he wants to do. He wants to be the best, and there's no promotion that'll ever pop up on the planet that will beat WWE. I'm sorry.
Oh, he is the best jackass.
Yes. See, my whole take on this thing, right? And you read the mark sheets and you read the mark pages on Facebook and how everyone's all giddy about the New Japan Pro Wrestling and the AEW pay-per-view, and WWE can never do that. No, they could do it if they wanted to. They just don't want to. And the thing of it is that Tony Khan cannot beat WWE by himself. So he's looking for anybody to try to help him, and even that pay-per-view is not going to beat WWE. WWE is entertainment. They are geared towards kids.
They're their own entity.
Exactly.
As Jason and I have said many times, Hollywood of pro wrestling.
Right. Do I agree on what they do sometimes? Absolutely not. Do I think what they're doing with Cody Rhodes is the right thing? Yes. He is now a top guy and he's a top baby face in the company. And they're letting him use the words wrestler, carny, business. Like they're letting him use all them words that they banned from everybody else using. Oh, and another thing, Vince McMahon gave back everybody their Twitch and their streams to make extra money. Jay sitting there was biting at the bit to say something. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, the New Japan thing, I'm going to go a little further into that because you see actually some people who you would think are very big fans of it, but when they really watch it and break it down, like take Okada, for instance. I've seen some people, some US people actually saying that they didn't think a lot of his matches were all that. And then you have people that chime in that are strictly like they like the action of, so to speak, the wrestler. But in order to get the full effect of said character, the language barrier is what kills a lot of it. So being able to adapt as an American wrestling fan, totally intertwine yourself with that New Japan star, a lot of it has to do with the language barrier and how these guys cut promos. So wrestling wise, yes, I think it's awesome that guys like that are and it's dream matches. And now let's all put this into perspective that if this was such a big event, why are they just going to a basketball / hockey arena when Vince McMahon now is running, if you think about it, 3 stadium shows a year?
Yep.
SummerSlam will be outdoors, from what I'm reading, in Tennessee at the Titan Stadium.
Yep.
And
that's
run.
That's Money in the Bank. SummerSlam is in Vegas.
Okay, so now that puts 4 stadium shows. If you want to count 5 stadium shows, excuse me, guys, that would be Saudi Arabia. Yep. When you think about it,
one of them's going to be in the UK.
And there you go, Mike. Now they're going to the UK. So if you think about the WWE, which said utilizing what per se people say the most boringest storylines and characters, are going and putting 50 to 60 to 75,000 people in said stadiums with said the most boringest storylines known to man. So if everything was hold on, let me just finish. Hold up. If everything was so boring to I'm not saying us here, but I'm saying the general perspective of what the WWE and people view is saying, oh, AEW is here because they rescued the fans, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm trying to say to you is if the WWE was that boring and was not giving really great storylines, wasn't creating stars of their own, how are they able to go and every month they do a said pay-per-view, or that now they're calling it a premium live event? If they're going to do 6 in this calendar year that are in big-time stadiums with boring storylines, with guys who, quote-unquote, are not being built as stars, okay, how are they, like, you know what I mean? The fallacy is definitely there when it comes to the fruition of what the WWE is doing.
Careful,
you know what I mean?
You might be called the WWE show by one.
I'm putting the proof with a Mike, I didn't watch any WWE product this week. I chose to watch AEW because I wanted to see what why they were talking. I've been reading these breakdowns on how the shows have been going. So I chose by the breakdown of what couple of hours I was gonna waste this week. I just been busy with other things. I said, I'm gonna give this AEW watch. And you know why I did? Because of the negativity that went towards the main event where they talked about Andrade not going again, putting over Darby Allin, and then people comparing that to a certain extent of Rey Mysterio being put over as a smaller world champion. And if that was the case, like, the self-created greatest luchador of all time would not have the type of aura he does without the victories like that. It wouldn't give the aspect of even making a character like myself that was an undersized professional wrestler credibility in the ring without a guy like Rey Mysterio giving that type of credibility. So I know I'm jumping everywhere, but
no, I
you
get
know
it.
what I mean?
But it's like, it's people like, and I'm not really shitting on Forbes today, but I mean, it's people like Forbes that like think that the company's dying. And they're not dying; they're thriving, and nobody gets that.
Well,
Go ahead, Pelly.
like I said before, it's two different audiences. But
it's not. It's really not.
I think it is. Like the WWE is like entertainment. It's like it directs like the family. Like somebody that do want to watch wrestling, they want to watch because they're entertained, and a family would go to that, and that's what sell tickets. It's to a broader spectrum. You got the AEW. It's like for like the smart mark crowd. Like for like, I think if there wasn't any social media or the internet today, there wouldn't be an AEW.
Nope. but the thing of it is, it's you say it's different crowds or different fan bases, but it's really not, because it's the same people who shit on WWE week after week are still watching it. If you hate the product that much, and you don't like WWE, and again, I don't agree with everything they do, and some of the storylines are stupid, like the whole marriage angle they're running with Tamina and what's his name and Reggie and Dana Brooks.
Let me finish. Let me tap on it, but I was entertained by that this week. I was entertained.
Okay, let me finish. So, yes, it was funny. It was goofy entertainment, but it's the same people week in and week out that I read on, like, cult of kayfabe or these other Facebook groups, and they're continuously shitting on WWE, but you're still watching it. If you hate it that much, then don't watch it. Be a hardcore indie fan and watch AEW, because that's all AEW is indie federation. It's being booked like an indie federation that's got a TV deal. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's EC. It's just generations ECW. That's all it is.
These AEW fans, the first thing they watch though is WWE, and if AEW left, they go back to WWE.
Exactly. Do you have your hair in a bun, Jason Rumble?
Do I have my hair in a who?
A bun, a man bun.
That I do.
Oh my
God. I'm acknowledging the tribal chief and his 660 some odd days as the world champion.
600 days, get it right.
Go out to my tribal chief.
Oh, somebody for me to pick on tonight. Jason Rumble, you're the winner. Ding, 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 ding.
Hey, it's Jeff Ferguson. Jeff, Mike, I agree with it. Online darlings killed the enjoyment of wrestling.
Exactly. Or should we say armchair bookers, as I blasted something on the page. No, I wasn't making fun of Capelli or the Gazoo. I was just
he might take offense to that.
Somebody made the stupidest comment on Facebook, and I destroyed this kid and trolled him the rest of the day because he had no idea what the hell he was talking about. I forgot what it was. And Jeff, I think you commented on it, but he had no idea what he was talking about, and he was acting like it was the gospel because he said it. When I get bored during the workday and I sit there and wait to unload the concrete, I just abuse people on Facebook when they say stupid shit.
Was it Nick McKinnon?
Yes.
Usually it is Nick. He
Yes.
says some stupid shit.
I destroyed him. I felt bad afterwards, but I destroyed him.
This
What? You felt
this
bad? Come on now.
Hey, listen, I
New
have a
Japan-
heart. It might be a black heart, but I have one.
This New Japan thing, is it a one thing off, or is it going to be a continuing, ongoing thing?
For what?
The New
The
Japan
New
thing.
Japan?
I think it's just a one-time deal. That's the way I took it. I mean, first of all, Jay White, they're saying is not signed to anybody. He's definitely signed to AEW because he hasn't really been in TNA that much. And the Good Brothers, their contract is up at
Okay. I don't know who this.
Working,
I like this.
Gallows
Brian,
working in
hey. Brian is right. What's going on, Brian? I know who this is.
the true meaning of the term buried. Jay, you want to take this one?
Let's take Finn Balor, for instance.
He was not
A
buried.
guy that's been up
was
on the.
not buried.
Not saying this. This is here. This is the term of him really not being buried, but people call it being buried.
All right.
Finn has had a very successful career in the WWE. I think more or less the last guy who you can honestly say got buried would probably be a guy like Karrion Kross.
Yeah, Karrion Kross got buried.
Oh,
Karrion
yeah.
Kross, yeah. They took the Killer Kross gimmick, changed the name, let him do this thing on NXT, brought him up to the main roster, and made a complete fool of himself. Made a fool of him. That's being buried. Being buried is give you a push in a certain brand, bring you up to the main roster, and give you junk.
Would you think that
Yeah.
Keith Lee would be into that considerational category of being buried, or did he do it to himself?
He did it to himself. His
Yeah.
attitude backstage was horrible, and now it's coming out that his same attitude is just as bad in AEW, and he's not happy in AEW already.
You
Wow.
might say the same thing. You might say the same with his Butch character, but the last 2 weeks he's been running with it, man. He's been doing well with it.
He's
been
not
doing
buried either. Being
That ain't
buried.
buried.
All right, so
I'll be right back with you guys.
All right, so being buried in the terms of the business is that you go out there and you just get completely squashed, and then you're never seen again. Like you do a 2-minute job match, even if you have a title, you lose it in 30 seconds, and you're never, ever, 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 ever seen again on WWE TV at all. Period. That is the true definition of being buried.
I
All
think
right.
he can be buried and seen again. I think that the night Bianca Belair got jobbed out by Becky Lynch in 30 seconds.
But that
Is a
wasn't
form-
being buried. They needed to do that to get the ratings up.
Yeah. But to a certain extent, people would term that in a way being buried.
Yeah, he was. You're right, Jeff. That's being buried too. At least he spelled it right.
All right, Jeff, I'll answer this. I Hook finding out that he's a Division I lacrosse player. I understand he's tough. But even me being an undersized wrestler, I don't think my body type ever looked that scrawny.
Yeah, he looks real small.
That's because
looks
you were
real
doing
small.
extracurricular activities.
It's all right. He's Taz's son. You would think Taz was juiced out of his mind. I was only following directions by my elder statesman. Here, take this. You'll be fine.
Are you kidding me? You're gonna pass the buck? Shut up.
I took advice. I'm not passing the buck.
What a work.
pass. I took advice.
Nah,
I'm
no,
not
you just
passing the
lost all
buck.
credibility. Be quiet.
Well,
I think it's going to be an exciting angle because Danhausen can actually work and work
yeah.
well, very well. So that's going to be an interesting. We're going to see what Hook's really got because he's getting in there one of the big boys. To be honest with you, I followed Danhausen's career from when he was just plain Jane, whatever the frick his name was. He used his real name. The kid could work then, and he wasn't getting noticed for his work, so he came up with Danhausen. Now look at him. He's with unfortunately AEW, but and he makes
It's
himself look like a
TV.
fool.
It's TV. They're on, and he's getting to learn his craft. And someday he could be in the WWE. And that's I haven't gotten to watch him work yet. I've just seen the.
YouTube him. YouTube him.
I will.
He's
I'm not
amazing.
saying that I'm a Vince McMahon type of guy when I look at pro wrestling. But if I
Oh,
had to say the main characters of pro wrestling, like the CM Punks and the Buddy Murphys, like
oh,
those guys should be like the small. Like I'm just saying, I'm talking body stature wise,
yeah.
should be like
Yeah.
the
CM Punk and Dustin
minimal.
Rhodes had a great match this week.
Tony Nese, CM Punk had a great match with Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah.
I thought that match was real good.
I'm getting real sick of seeing CM Punk open up every AEW. It's getting monotonous.
What's going to happen when he's champ in the next 3 months?
Oh, God help us.
That's happening. It's all part
Obviously,
of the
they're
deal.
not going to sign a guy to a $4 million a year contract and not give him the title. That would just be bad business.
I can see why now he's with the WWE. Did you read that? Did any of you guys read the? I don't know if I put it up or I meant to put it up. It was talking about how Cody Rhodes insinuated the contract, started the contract talks originally off with CM Punk, and in order for him really not to sign right away, everything was done via text message, and he knew that Punk would take that as an insult to start things off as text messaging. Any of you guys read that at all?
I did read that. Yes, I've also heard it. Punk had said it himself in the whole beginning. Is that who texts you a contract offer? Nobody.
Yeah.
So and again, that's just a learning curve for Cody because when you get Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon coming to you wherever you are and laying the cards on the table, that's a contract negotiation, not text messaging. Yeah. So, I mean, did anybody ever read the podcast that Cody did that he's saying that there will be more and more AEW stars jumping ship to WWE in the near future?
No, I did not hear that.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, the first person that's coming over is Marshall. Guarantee it. Because he was backstage. Marshall.
GQ Marshall or what?
Yep.
QT Marshall?
Yep. Because he was backstage at WrestleMania with Cody.
Yeah.
I want to get to something here. It's a little off topic. Rumble was talking about it the other week, and I didn't want to say anything because Forbes wasn't on here. And it's about the relationship between the wrestler, and the fan. So when I was growing up, and I went to even indie shows, the wrestler being in the ring was bigger than life, and it was
to be, right? Yep.
Yeah. So, but that's what's kind of ruining the businesses today, and maybe social media is to blame, is that the wrestlers today are interacting with the marks and bringing the wrestler down to the marks level. And I think that's kind of, in a way, starting to ruin the business a bit.
I think that what's really ruining the business, you're right, the internet is ruining it, but it's also these dirt sheets and mark sheets that report shit that's not even true. A report came out about Cody's already unhappy in WWE and wants to leave. No, he wouldn't have signed a multi-year contract if he wasn't going to play it out. I mean, do these people believe that they're going to give him the title right off the bat? No, like that doesn't work that way.
It's ludicrous to even think that.
He's probably not going
I
to get the
get
title
that,
till after WrestleMania 39. To be honest with you,
I get
firmly
that, but
believe.
I'm more like wrestlers bickering with marks on like social media pages and Facebook and stuff. Like wrestlers
yeah,
should be bigger than life.
but
Wrestlers
but
should be
all right,
bigger than life.
let me ask you a question, Pelly. If over time, like just say you're signed to like WWE or AEW, right, and you keep getting marks who think they know it all bashing you on a daily basis, and you see it, and they send you, they tweet you or tag you in Facebook posts or whatever. Wouldn't you get sick of that after a while and then decide to answer back and put people in their place?
I just I
Like,
leave it alone.
honestly, would
I'd be
you
bigger than
not
that.
get frustrated? Would you get frustrated with it?
It's hard to get me frustrated, but it would frustrate me. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I mean, it's like when you it's just it's a like for me, and I can understand like why people would like some of the boys would answer back is because enough is enough. When it boils down to it, we all are all human beings, whether we're in the business or not. And when somebody shits on you, as much as somebody's marked shit on without a clue at all about the business or what goes on or whatever, like everyone was all up in arms because Finn Balor lost the U.S. title. Yes. Did they do anything with Finn? Did they give him a feud? No. But he was just a transitional champion. Austin Theory needed to win that title to continue his push.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plain and simple. That had to happen.
Well, I did like how all the heels came out and put them on their shoulder.
Exactly.
I did like that.
It's if you didn't give him that title, you killed his push. So that's just my take on it and what I think about it. Again,
I saw what you thought of. I saw what you thought about it. I think it was Cult of Kayfabe.
Yeah,
a kid talked about about how the match went and the fact that we would see on Monday that Finn Balor and I believe it was two other wrestlers along with Finn Balor that were going to be on the unemployment line. And I see Mike King, and I forget what you wrote, but I just started laughing. I was like,
I destroyed him. That's why. Like
that was funny.
Because he's being released. No, you dipshit. He just signed another 3-year contract. He's 41 years old. He ain't going nowhere. The only way he's leaving is if they fire him. He's not asking for a release. Nobody understands. It's a job. No matter what, it's a job. And you're getting paid lots of money to do what the employer tells you to do. Just like my job. I get paid. I'll put it out there. I don't care. I make $100,000 a year. And if I don't like it, I can go somewhere else. I can quit. Same thing. It's the same thing. It's just on a bigger scale.
A job is a job is a job is a job.
Exactly.
You got to do the job. Do the job.
Right. It's not like it's independent wrestling where if we don't want to put somebody over, we can take our suitcase and go home. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And again, granted, some cases, some people, Steve Austin's one of them, didn't want to put over Brock Lesnar for no reason. He took his ball and went home. I get it. It didn't make sense. There was no money to be made there. I understand that. But other than that, if anybody watched that match, that was a great match.
All right. So, Mike, it's cool that you brought this up. So that whole situation, if I'm not mistaken, happened at a time and place in pro wrestling where realistically taking your ball home and say and just taking your ball home and going home and leaving the court, so to speak. There was nowhere else for you to play to play ball, so to speak, in pro
Exactly.
wrestling.
Yeah.
So now, would that gone as smoothly in today's game?
Probably not. I would say, or actually, it probably would have been a lot easier for Austin to do that because depending on his contract situation, if like say his contract was coming up and he didn't want to put Brock Lesnar over, he could just wait his contract out and then go to AEW or TNA. But back then, there was nowhere else for him to go. Like there was no WCW, there was no ECW. Like when he left WCW, you're right.
Yeah.
There was nowhere for him to go. So, did he deserve the heat that he got for just up and leaving? Yes, because it's unprofessional. And he's even said himself on his podcast, it was unprofessional for what I did. It
And I'd
was.
have to say the TNA wasn't even at the level that could afford someone like a Stone Cold Steve
No,
Austin.
no. Speaking of affording, has anybody read the article of what Mr. Bray Wyatt wants for money to come back to
Heard a
wrestling?
lot.
I
Too
haven't
much.
heard the amount or read the amount. I just know it's a boatload of money.
Yes. So if anybody has any hard-ons for Wyndham Rotunda to be in AEW, get it out of your head because they're not paying him what he wants. And
Well, does
it's more than $4 million a year.
did anybody see his recent series of posts from the 21st?
What, life
No.
comes full circle?
So he's changed his name to just a circle,
Yep.
and then he made a series of posts of being like his old cryptic Bray Wyatt self.
Yep.
He's like, I do not think that it's true. He who makes a beast of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man.
Yep.
But if you become the machine, you don't have to feel at all.
What is that telling you, but Mickey Biggs?
What's that?
What do you read into that?
I don't know. It's I mean, it could be anything at that point. You know, he could still be talking about what he wants to do with his Hollywood stuff.
Right. Did anybody read the article that his father put out or the interview that his father had?
No.
So it's talking about
I saw
both
parts.
boys.
I read parts of
Yeah.
it, not the whole thing.
I would not be surprised if you see both of them together as a unit or something back in WWE because that's the only people that are going to be able to afford what he wants is WWE. AEW is not going to pay. First of all, AEW, if they didn't sign everybody under the sun, then maybe they could afford to bring him in and give him the push that he deserves. But he's just going to get lost in the shuffle because you got the top pay tiers in AEW are Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Moxley. And Moxley contract is up the end of May.
I hear the Bucks are up in June.
Bucks are up in June. FTR was up in the end of May, but Khan exercises additional year because rumor has it that WWE wants to bring the FTR back as the FTR. I wouldn't be surprised because Moxley just had a kid for him to end up being back in WWE and making a shitload of money. But if they bring him back, they're going to bring him back as Moxley, not as.
Oh, yeah.
Damian
He comes
Moxley.
back as John Moxley. I don't
Yeah.
see it. Now, if FTR did come back to WWE, who do they utilize as his managers? Tully Blanchard in his corner? Do they bring
Nope.
Arn Anderson back? What would they have
They're
done?
going to use Bret Hart because
Exactly,
Bret Hart
because they
just
just
signed a
signed Bret Hart.
contract with the Legends contract with WWE.
15-year contract, the same as the Undertaker.
So that's safe to say.
That because AEW was really wanting to sign Bret Hart.
I heard that. Yes, I heard they were really clamoring to sign Bret Hart.
They wanted to, and they were talking about it, but all of a sudden, like 2-3 weeks ago, all that stopped, and nobody could figure out why. And then it was just released like a few days ago that Bret signed a lucrative contract, a Legends contract with WWE, right around the same time frame all that stopped. So.
And it wasn't just a normal Legends contract. They're paying him very well.
Yes.
Brett's a businessman. He knows.
Again, I give AEW credit where credit is due, and if it wasn't for, I mean, yes, they're trying to change the business and they're trying to make it a wrestling company, and I respect that. But with Tony Khan writing the storylines and booking the talent and in full control, they are doomed to fail. He does not know the business at all. And yes, okay, you got Regal there. Doesn't mean he's using Regal as a booker or a writer or anything like that. Because Tony Khan has stated more times than I can count on Bubba Ray's show, I do it all. I book, I write, everything. And now you're taking on Ring of Honor. And you want to have a TV
Ring of Honor. I want to bring up something. Ring of Honor. I saw this on the internet. I think they should scrap Rampage altogether, and on a Friday night or another night, do a Ring of Honor show for 2 hours, and make CM Punk or Brian Danielson their champion. And make CM Punk or Brian Danielson their champion. So, because Rampage is just. They shouldn't be on TV at all. They're not drawing anybody. Their matches they should have on Dynamite. Like Rampage just shouldn't be on television. They should be. They put
a Texas death match on Rampage. You know what they drew for that? Does anybody see the numbers?
No, but I watched it on replay.
300,000 viewers for that show. They did a 0.13.
Because with the history of Ring of Honor, if you had a Ring of Honor show once a week, I think people would be drawn to that.
Oh, they're gonna have that plus Rampage.
No,
Tony Khan's already said it.
They got to get rid of Rampage.
They won't. Tony Khan said that he's gonna have a third show, Ring of Honor show, on like a Thursday night. He's looking to put it on either TBS or TNT.
And where do they make the Ring of Honor matches out of?
They're going to use what guys that came from Ring of Honor. Grissom's
I get that, but where do you set that up? Where do you do their setup?
I don't know, no idea.
They only run one. Like the one thing I don't get is they only run one show a week. So B Duff gives us a little insight.
I
agree with you. When I went to AEW in Boston and left after Dynamite, wanted to get home early, not at 1 a.m. Yep.
Because he can't afford to run 2 live shows. He's hemorrhaging money over there, left and right. You sign all these former WWE talents. And if it wasn't for the former WWE talents, they wouldn't even be around right now, to be honest with you. And that's the God's honest truth. If it wasn't for Brian Danielson, Moxley, Miro, Punk, FTR, Black, they wouldn't even exist.
So what?
No way they were competing without them.
I said it before. If it wasn't for WWE, there'd be no AEW.
So then wouldn't it make more sense to have a second live show is just utilize what is their home, and that would be utilizing the Daily's place on a Friday night and doing things live there?
You know what?
Why haven't they done things like that?
This is what I would do if I was in charge of AEW. I would get rid of Rampage and, like you said, run Ring of Honor every Friday night live on TV from Daily's place.
Why not? Why can't you just go, hear this? You could keep Rampage at 10 o'clock. You
Rampage is the
film
shit.
and you do, and what you do is you give Ring of Honor starts at 7 o'clock, and it doesn't have to be live, the Ring of Honor show, but to have the crowd in there to film for 2 hours for their TV weekly,
But you now
and
you got a
then
crowd. Now you got a crowd sitting through 4 hours of TV.
not the
Commercial
3 hours,
breaks.
7,
No,
8,
but
9,
it's
and
4 hours. If you look at it, it's 4 hours, Jay. You
oh
got to
yeah,
set up commercial breaks. You got to set up all this other shit. Yeah, it's more than that. This 3 hours. It's not like they can. It's not like they can switch the ring in like 30 seconds.
yeah, it takes the aprons. I know. I've done it. I mean, so
Yeah.
I think if even if they did just straight 2 hours from
Wait a minute. You
8,
didn't do
you
it.
know,
I did it. I was able messing with the ring. You weren't doing. You were yelling at me. Mike, why isn't the ring done yet? Why? Because I have morons for a ring crew. Why do you think it's not done yet, Jay? Get out here and help me.
all right. So, anyways, I
Look how Mickey Biggs. You look how he just got right over that comment, right?
so anyways, oh my,
Again, the no sell.
I knew it.
We got to show to bell times at 7 o'clock, and the ring's not up yet. What are you doing? I'm playing with myself. What do you think I'm doing?
But
Trying to put a
anyways,
ring together with morons.
I think that they could do a combined Ring of Honor / AEW show out of dailies, and even if it was Ring of Honor with certain AEW matches, and it wasn't like the bigger stars, and you made like Rampage 2 hours, and it was AEW presents Ring of Honor Rampage. I think that would be kind of cool to have both products. The world champion got to be on it. The tag champion got to be on it. But if you put like the TBS champ or just people that are trying to build through, and you utilize that hour or 2 hours as being the Ring of Honor champions, I think you could get away with that at the same time too.
Well, I mean, you got a point, but you also have to understand it's not, back to it's not just 3 hours of TV. It's probably more 4 or 5 hours of the
Yeah.
fans sitting there, and as Brian D just stated, who wants to sit for another hour TV tape?
So what if it was just a live TV show for 2 hours like Raw is? Or like SmackDown. You're there for 2 hours, you get your go. It's Friday night, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom.
But that's not even 2 hours if you really look at it, because they give dark matches afterwards.
So whoever wants to stay around for the dark matches stays around for the dark matches.
No, I understand that. It's
But
easier said than done.
the idea would be filling the TV. The idea would be okay. Let's draw more than 300,000 when we're giving away a pay-per-view quality match, which theoretically that was, man. Did you watch the Adam Cole versus Adam Page match?
I did not. No,
I didn't.
It was a good, like, I went.
I saw highlights of it. And from what I saw,
specifically watched that. And another reason why I watched Dynamite this week is because I wanted to see that crazy son of a bitch Sting at 60-some odd years old jump off a balcony again.
63.
Like, he's doing. What was bad? AEW tapes Elevation. Okay. Tapes Dark Evolution okay. Then the live Dynamite. Then they take a 20-minute break while changing to Rampage. Holy crap. Okay. It's a lot.
Thank you for proving my point, Brian D.
Wasn't they? Listen, I understand. I've been to a
live.
Don't
want to hear it. Don't want to hear it, Mr. Promoter. Don't want to hear it.
I've been to a live WWE
about the ring.
SmackDown
Don't want to hear
it. When I went to SmackDown, I will admit the SmackDown taping seemed longer than going to see Raw live.
Oh, okay. It's only 20 minutes. It's only 20 minutes to change the ring over.
That's what 15 hands.
Yeah. Not with 5 morons.
I get you. I didn't say that.
No, but you
listen.
know, you just would yell at me all the time because the ring wasn't up in time.
All right. I'm sorry for yelling at you when the ring wasn't up on time. I apologize. Please accept my apology.
I had to deal with Chupa Gilmore.
Come on, Mike. What the fuck?
Yeah, can we just get the ring unloaded, please? And
Come
I don't wanna
on,
hear no
let's
more bullshit.
let's go. I've already smoked 3/4 of a pack of cigarettes.
And 2 bowls.
Yeah. And some nose candy.
Come on.
At least
not
when he
Chupa
was on
Gilmore.
the nose candy, he moved faster.
Oh Jesus. Yeah. Talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last
Gilmore.
night they did 4 hours of SmackDown. They had to tape next week's event.
Why?
Why? Why is SmackDown being taped?
Don't leave us hanging, Brian. You gotta tell us why now.
Come on now, Duffy. B
Oh,
Duff, you got us hanging now. Why are they taping SmackDown? Is there a big event next Friday night that we don't know about?
No, because I think the playoff hockey isn't on Fox.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
UK tour. There you go.
Okay, UK tour. All right. B Duff. I'm gonna call you the insider, B Duffy.
So they taped that steel cage match then last night then between Zayn and McIntyre.
That'll be
Evidently,
another big event.
Dude, I watched that lumberjack match between Zayn and McIntyre, and I watched Todd and his partner walk to the ring, and they just did not look happy.
Believe me.
I know they're getting paid. I know they're getting paid to do a job, but
He's fine.
that's the feeling I got off of him. That's all.
can I tell you?
He probably is fine. I'd be happy
And
if I was getting a paycheck from WWE, but he didn't.
If and hear me out. If Todd was listening, Todd would agree. I seen the special affection that Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, when I was at my WWE tryout, has with the Chaotic Boys. There was a couple of guys there that weren't even wrestling for the company no more that showed up to the tryout regardless. Tommaso, Tommaso, people don't understand. Tommaso and Kofi signed deals all at the same time.
Yep.
Tommaso was released. Tommaso chose to be released from his deal because Tommaso, rumor had it, Tommaso was unhappy with wearing a mask in FCW. His character was a masked character. And supposedly people said that because of his vanity, at the time, don't forget, he's coming off a gimmick known as Tommaso Penmanship. Was supposed to be a very handsome and debonair type of guy. People had it that he didn't like. People did not like people was said that he did not like the fact that his face was being hid under a mask.
Well, they more like the Spike Dudley version of the Viking Raiders.
So now, just hear me out. People like, and I'm not lying, the connection of Walter people in the WWE training facility is insane. The head trainer still throughout this is Matt Bloom, who's not been touched, knock on wood.
You won't be.
Another guy who has Kowalski lineage, George Carroll, helping write NXT. People like Tommaso, Kofi, and Todd are groomed to be the next guys that will be the wave of who will teach the next generation of WWE superstars.
Yep.
A guy like Brian Malonis, who probably will never see a WWE contract, but will in the next 5 to 10 years will be a head trainer at the WWE Performance Center once Tommaso, once Kofi, and once Todd take their rightful places in the WWE Performance Center as being coaches. I am telling you, that is a main reason why Todd will not leave there. Todd is a back injury away from being in a wheelchair. There's no way that he's going to leave that type of money behind, knowing what type of golden job opportunity outside the ring he will have later in life to still be productive in the world of professional wrestling by producing the next generation of WWE star.
So speaking
I'm willing
of,
to bank on that.
oh yeah, without a doubt. So speaking of certain people that we know in the business, Mr. One Fandango was at APW last weekend, and I broke his balls a little bit.
Yeah.
So I go, "Do you remember me?" He goes, "The face looks familiar, but not really." I go, "Been through any tables lately for Tony Alice?" He goes, "Holy fucking shit." He goes, "This is the kid that broke me in the business because we were the first ones that brought him in."
Yeah.
He was like, "I can't believe you're still around." I go, "What do you think? I died?" Wicked. I mean, he has not changed one bit. Very
Yeah.
humble, very grateful. Um, Wrestled a really good match with a blown out knee. I was surprised.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the reasons why he's got released because his knees were fucked.
Oh.
Now Anthony Green was on the show as well, and now I know why Anthony Green was released from WWE because he is a dick with a capital D. Like he was shitting on a lot of talent in the locker room. I literally said, if you don't stop, I'm going to kick you out of this fucking locker room. And he
Was
just
he there
looked at me.
was he there visited or working?
No, he worked. He was working. Whenever I said that to him, he was like, "Boy, you don't change." I go, "Neither have you, dick. Well, actually, you've gotten worse. Just because you were the WWE and got fired doesn't mean you're fucking all that in a bag of chips." I said, "You really are. You're back on the indie scene. Relax, buddy. Don't walk around like your shit don't stink because your farts are giving you away." I can see why he got released. 100% why.
APW afforded, like, what's Anthony Green looking to get paid? I would imagine a few hundred.
I think he came in for a cheaper rate. Fandango did it for free.
Wow.
That's because he was booked too much prior and he got to a car accident on the way down.
Yeah.
So they did the seminar. He kept the money from the seminar, but he worked the show for nothing.
Cool.
I worked him his last night in the Indies for Sheldon Goldberg before he got signed.
You guys heard about Kid Crazy, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Heard what?
Kid Crazy?
Kid Crazy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sucks.
First time I ever worked EWA in Massachusetts was Sonny Roselli and Larry Huntley. He worked Maverick Wild in a street fight. It was crazy.
Does anybody know? How did he pass away? Does anybody know?
Drank himself to death.
Really?
You never knew he had a drinking problem?
I knew he had
all these fucking years. You never knew that?
I knew he had like a drug problem at one time, but I never knew he had a drinking problem.
Cirrhosis of the liver.
Wow.
Yep. 38 years old. He was one of the kids in the white shirts too. Sucks.
Yeah.
Because in between the show and the seminar, Kurt had went to see Kid Crazy in the hospital.
Yeah.
Kurt got back to the show, and the news broke that he passed away at 5:15 in the afternoon.
Oh wow.
So another kid that was wicked talented.
Yep.
Wicked. And just it's a shame. Too young, way too young.
When I first worked for Sonny Roselli in Buxton, Maine at Skip Spa, every week the weekly shows, Kid Crazy would show up with oh man, Dr. Payne, what's his name there?
It's Dr. Harrison,
Frankie's
Armadillo.
yep, Frankie Armadillo, and a couple other dudes, and we'd all sit, and I used to call it the Mystery Mobile, Everett Payne's conversion van, and we'd all get, all baked up in there, and then go back in and
Of course you
wrestle with Sonny.
did. It wouldn't be a Jason Rumble. It wouldn't be a show without Jason Rumble being high on it.
Well, listen, it wasn't me provoking it, buddy.
It's never you provoking it. Never.
I just walked in. I just walked into the Mystery Mobile and
26
put my
years.
hand up.
26 years and you've never promoted it, not once.
Oh, I have.
No shit.
But you're no perfect angel yourself, there, buddy.
I smoke it.
Yeah, and now you're back to being, because you can, being a hippopotamus. I mean, being a hypocritus. I mean, what do you call that for that?
Keep it up with your man bun. With your 5 chins in your man bun. Shut up.
Hypocritus. There's no 5 there, buddy. That's just 1. That's the beard, pal.
No, that's 5 in the beard.
Yeah, right.
You got some shit hanging up on your shelf behind you.
That's a beautiful looking bee behind me.
Yeah, the shits.
Well, I gotta go. I gotta get up in the morning.
It's a perfect time to wrap things up anyways. Next week, hopefully we'll have...
Oh, it's a perfect time because I'm breaking your balls right now. Oh. Okay, Capelli.
When are we going next week, Rumble?
Saturday night.
Okay, I'm selling my books at Chuck's show, so I won't be able to do it.
Oh, well, give us you should, what you do? You should come in live from Chuck's show just to say hello for 10, 15 minutes.
I do when I'm working, you bastard.
No, yeah, not a problem. I can do that.
Beautiful. All right, so we'll let you go, and we'll go on for a couple more minutes and call it a night.
All right.
Have a good one, Pelly.
All right, nice seeing you guys. We'll see you next weekend.
Peace out.
I'll be on live next week from PAPW's Point Blank show.
Oh, there we go. So I believe maybe I put up like one other thing, and I'm forgetting a mind fog, because not really much happened this week in wrestling. Once again, it was really like, dead week. I just basically, like I said, I tuned in from what I read on reviews. I wanted to watch the AEW stuff most of all, and
from
I was entertained
that everybody knew.
The big announcement was stupid. You know what I mean? And
AEW,
all right, to continue off this, I do not believe it's a one-off. No. Because Kenny Omega is not. Nope. Kenny Omega is not ready, and I believe, and this is my.
From word has it, he's going to be out for a while.
Okay, and I believe that this is a bigger thing for Tony Khan to put a show together, the magnitude that will generate enough of their style of wrestling fan to go into a stadium type environment.
Well,
that's where I believe it goes. If you cannot put it to that type of magnitude, I don't look at the Forbidden Door stuff as being a successful angle. That's the way I look at it. So no, I don't. Yes, I don't believe this is a one-off. I believe this is something that August, September. I believe this is something you can see at in Georgia at their dome stadium, so that it guarantees that the event goes off, or this is something that takes place at the Jaguar Stadium, and they can sell upwards of having the bragging rights and saying that they've had 60 to 70,000 wrestling fans. That's
Love
that. That's all.
Wow.
I think that's that. If I was a businessman for this, that's the only way I would deem it a success. I don't see it being a success that I can put together a show that I could have just bought those fucking wrestlers for the evening and promoted a show.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
all.
you know, I look at it this way, okay? We as independent wrestlers, whatever, got in this business because we love it.
Yep.
Our ultimate goal is to make money in this business, correct?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he should be shooting for the stars. He wants to make as much money as possible, considering that he's sucking daddy's wallet dry and he's not showing a profit. So again, if that's what the ploy is to do more than one show and make money, great. But if you're bringing New Japan Pro Wrestling in and try to compete with Vince, forget it. Hang it up now.
I think it, Mike. I honestly believe that it has nothing to do. This move has nothing to do with the competitive edge.
I hope so.
I believe that this move has to do with trying to get watchful eyes even more watchful. You know,
That'd be good.
that's all. I think it's a way that they see their numbers aren't good on Friday nights. They're seeing that a lot of what they do anyways is not, so to speak, working to a certain extent. They're still
They
getting
still
close
can't-
to a
they-
million.
Yeah, but
They're
they
still
can't consistently break a million. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, maybe they feel with something like this that they do.
Well,
You know, they get that extra additive fan that comes in. That, you know what I mean? What if there's people in New Japan fans that don't watch, that all of a sudden they're going to watch because they know the Bullet Club's there?
well. It's Bullet Club 2.0, to be honest with you.
I think if
Even
everything
though-
works, I think it makes more sense even more now that the Good Brothers signed with Tony Khan and they do their thing with AEW right now.
Did they sign with Tony Khan?
No, I think it will make sense though, because the only way to really truly have it is give it. If you're gonna do something that you want to try and beat Vince at, if it's not crowd, it's bragging rights to say that you gave that to, per se, the wrestling fan, and you gave
The
it,
only way.
and you
okay,
gave it to the pure wrestling fan. Because let's face it, Mike, you said it yourself. AEW ain't generated by a person like myself bringing 2 kids and my wife to the event.
right.
AEW fans is me and 6 of my buddies going
Right.
to the event and getting rowdy.
Right.
So
So I think the only way that Bullet Club would work in AEW is if they had the original members. This version of the Bullet Club is watered down. It's not the same. Again, don't get me wrong. Jay White is an awesome entertainer, an awesome performer, and a great wrestler, but he's not Finn Balor. He's not Fala. He's not the Gorillas of Destiny. It's just not the same.
and they can't obtain the Gorillas of Destiny or Fowler or any of these guys right now.
Nope. They're all free agents too. They want nothing to do with AEW. Zero.
What about just like a 6-month deal with that New Japan? You can't see that happening for the crossover.
Nope. I really think you're gonna end up seeing the Gorillas of Destiny in fucking WWE or TNA permanently. And if their father has anything to do with it, they'll end up in WWE.
Yeah. I think that's even building more of a Samoan dynasty. You know.
And can you imagine
So
that
we'll
bloodline?
let's end on now. I know. Let's end on this right here. And of course, Capelli had to put in. I said this too. I never said that nobody, like, you know what I mean? I got to put me and others here have been saying this all along. So, because Capelli gets butthurt very easily lately.
No, not
And
with the Gazoo.
the unification of these titles in all aspects could happen. And like I've been saying, that quite possibly, and just hear me out, do people realize right now, aside from professional wrestling, that Fox and NBC Sports just put on the first live dual broadcast of a professional sports product being aired live at the same time, the same program on two different networks?
You talk about the USFL
That I am.
that has no
It's the
crowds.
first live professional It's because they put it in Birmingham, Alabama, and they shouldn't have did it like that. They should have toured the teams. They should have brought it down to Florida where they know they have some things, and they should have brought it to Texas. They should have toured with the teams, or they should have put.
I watched some of a game.
I have it all recorded. I like
last
New
night.
Jersey. Yeah,
I'm like, this isn't COVID. Where the fuck is the fans?
they did a horrible job, and to tell you the truth,
Four fans.
The tickets are $10, and kids 12 and under get in free.
I'll tell you right now, XFL is going to be a lot better than USFL when it comes out next year.
Oh yeah, it's because it's going to have NFL backing.
Yep.
So
when we get off the air, you guys stay on. I got something to tell you.
All right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I think we're going to see the unification, and you're gonna soon see this quote unquote brand split and the draft are all coming to an end. And it's going to be one product that is going to go generate through both networks, and both networks will be happy. So
I was never against it.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying for the people who say, "Oh, Fox, oh, USA, oh," we are not privy to the legit. This is legit business. This ain't somebody being waived. This ain't somebody signing a new fucking deal. This is legit boardroom shit that they talk about.
Yes, of course.
That why would they even release stuff like that? You know what I mean? For the average person to know. I'm just smart enough to see sports wise. If Fox came up with the USFL first and foremost. They have given and sold the game rights to another conglomerate broadcasting company like NBC. They're working together.
Yeah, well,
they're working together. So that means the people are talking.
Well,
whether it's football, whether it's baseball, they are talking. And I'm just under the fruition that what could happen is because you're able to get away with more on Fox, that you can per se write these angles that maybe don't accumulate on Monday, but because Fox is a lot less lenient, can happen now on a Friday night.
So, all right, USA is owned by NBC, correct?
Yes,
There you go. There's your answer right there.
that's what I mean. That's why I said that.
Yeah, no, I
That
know that. Do not make me drive up to freaking butt fuck me and slap you.
anyways, I'm that's why I'm in belief that this is going to be they're going to forget about brand split. It's going to become one brand, one show, and you got like for people to say, "Oh, but you need two belts." No, you don't. You have the big title, the company title. You have the Intercontinental title. You have the United States Championship. You
Well,
have tag team championships. In
if they come
order
out
to
with
make,
one belt for the Universal title, then you're right.
I believe they are. I believe that is going to happen at SummerSlam. And what I believe is going to happen at SummerSlam is it's going to be Randy Orton. It's not going to be Cody. It's not going to be. It's not going to be Cody Rhodes yet.
No,
And
Cody's not getting that title till after WrestleMania 39.
I believe what's going to happen is if Randy Orton wins, he wins the title of his choice. If Roman Reigns wins, it becomes a strictly undisputed, unified WWE World Universal Champion. And it's one belt, one champion. And that way it becomes one. And it's done.
So do
I
they
agree
create
with
a new
that.
belt for that?
And yes, and I believe that's money. Create a brand new belt. Yeah, it's money.
They probably already got the belt created.
Yeah, and I think the Usos take away I think what creates this is the Usos take away the championship. It puts Orton and RKO Bro at a heads, and Orton overtakes RKO and overtakes Riddle in some way, shape, and form that earns him the right to face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for the title of his choice. And that's what happens. And that's the way I see it. I see everything coming to one. Another reason why I see everything coming to one, I think because it's easier for you to see if you have legit stars. Because now these guys got no choice. The ones that you put in the limelight, they got no choice. Either they sink or they fucking swim, and you get either A, you're a WWE superstar, or B, you hit the road. And I think it's a lot easier knowing that you can concentrate on, say, 100 people than 200 people. You know what I mean?
Right.
If there's really not all these jobs and we want to sign you, we'll sign you back for 6 months. And you start seeing some of these year deals of people just disappearing. You know what I mean? Sign them for 6 with an option for 12 months down the road. And the option takes 90 days to sign. So you still got a 90-day non-compete clause. And if you sign within, you sign within. That's a beautiful medal you're sporting there, Kurt. When is your next powerlifting event?
I haven't scheduled one yet.
Now, how did this? We'll end it. We're gonna have to end it in a minute or two. How did you end up in Jamaica?
Because the team that I compete with,
Okay.
had some people going down there. So I basically ended up going to one of the team competitions and won my place for it.
So what I want to know is how come we were really kept in the hush loop about it and didn't find out until you were Rastafarian in Jamaica 2 weeks ago, a week ago.
Oh, you guys knew way before that. I told you guys way before that I was going to Jamaica.
Mickey Bench, listen, he's high 90% of the time. He doesn't remember this stuff.
I told you guys maybe a month ago I was going to be in Jamaica that week.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
you did.
I'm sorry.
Us.
Well, I was proud to hear that you are back successfully competing in a strongman competition, placing fourth, bro. That's excellent.
This particular event was it was event specific. It was called Moss Wrestling, and yeah, it's look it up. It's not the nicest thing in the world. Basically, you have a 2x4 or a 4x4, so to speak, in the center of you, and you
Yeah.
sit with your feet up against it, and they got a 3 foot wood bar, and one competitor holds their hands to the middle, one up, one down. The other competitor holds his hands to the outside, one up, one down. And basically, you're playing tug of war with this stick, and you can either pull it out of your opponent's hands, pull them up over the top of the thing, into you. Basically, it's like tug of
Wow.
war. It's a lot
Very
of shoulder
interesting. Very
strength. A lot of
interesting,
shoulder
brother.
strength.
Well, congratulations, brother. Very proud of you. Great to
Thank
hear that you accomplished this. And so we'll plan on next Saturday night. And hopefully we'll have some wrestling to talk about.
Like I said, I'll be coming to you guys live from PAPW's Point Blank. The show is at 62 Co Avenue in East Haven. If anybody's out in the area, come on down. Show starts at 7 o'clock. Great lineup. And then also, of course, you guys know about my NWA podcast, and that airs live every Wednesday at 9:30 with the professor. And this week we do have a special guest, Gorilla Position's very own Fingers. James Forbes will be on with us to talk about some great NWA action and to talk about his music, since we use one of his songs for his song as well.
Wait a minute. Jay knows it's coming. Jay knows it's coming. So now you're letting Mark's on now.
Well, I just have to ask this.
Yeah, please.
How does a guy like him over a guy like me
or me
with legit NWA lineage, okay, in the homage of Booker T, it may not be 5 times, but I'm the three-time NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion.
Mickey Biggs, you want to help?
1 minute.
And for 1
minute, hold on. And for 1 minute and 15 seconds in Connecticut, I was recognized as the NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Yep, I know. but you didn't see my other voicemail, my other message to you, and you didn't respond to it. So
I didn't. I'm sorry. I've been busy with baseball, but I would be honored, and I would love to go on the show. The next one you got.
Well, there is another thing that I had messaged you on, and we're doing a sort of, we haven't got the date set up yet, but we're going to do sort of like a round table.
Yeah.
And however long we decide to go for, it's going to be like a marathon type thing, and we're going to have people donate, and it's going to go to a charity.
Oh, to Richard Oppen. I did read about bits about that. Yes.
So
awesome. All right.
Yeah, I'm still befuddled how James, the fountain of misinformation, is getting on an NWA podcast. I don't understand it.
They want to hear the Mark's. They want to hear the Mark's perspective.
He is the super NWA fan, and
he
not
is.
only
I will
that,
say that
he's a super clown.
And not only that, he is the creator of our theme song. So that's why we're bringing him on.
So you're doing this then on his ass?
Yeah, it's all good though. Whatever.
Keep kissing his ass, Mickey Biggs. Make his head bigger than it already is. Good job, you clown.
All right, so next Saturday night, 9 p.m., we will talk wrestling once again. For Mickey Biggs, for APOC, like you said. Oh, then we'll be going live Friday night because, like my life, as Mike would say, I'm a clown, and I will be at the Big Top next Saturday evening.
What would you do without your wife? Seriously.
I would be lost without
You
my
would have
wife.
we would have gone off the air, right? And we all would have been our not so perfect lives. And I'd be sitting here like a jerk off on Saturday night waiting to go on the air, and there'd be no Jay because he's at the circus.
Yeah.
You clown.
All right. So next Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Live.
Make
And
sure you tell Sidewalk.
yes, I shall. He'll like that better.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. And make sure you check out Mickey Biggs, the NWA Spotlight live every Wednesday at what, 9 o'clock, you said, Mick?
9:30 on Facebook, Twitter, and I don't know where else off the top of my head.
There we go.
Bringing the
All
circus
right.
to you on Wednesday.
There you go. Excellent, everyone. We'll catch you next week live as always. And we always end things the way we began things.